Many Venezuelan prisons are now essentially under the control of the prisoners. Inside, they have heavy weapons, even grenades. These prisons are run by powerful criminal gangs. They have a leader or kingpin who strictly follows their own rules and regulations. If they do not follow the rules, the prisoners are shot in various parts of their bodies. The situation is so terrible that even the soldiers cannot enter. They only guard outside and hold their weapons if anyone tries to escape. Inside the prison, the prisoners have created a kind of society of their own. There is an open market, where everything from Coca-Cola to cocaine is available. The prisoners' families come in a few days a week. There are birthday parties, all inside the prison. The documentary La Causa by 29-year-old filmmaker Andres Figueroa Thompson shows the full picture of this terrible reality. Here we see how the prisoners have created their own separate society, where people who think differently or are considered dangerous are severely punished. The gangs also kept LGBT prisoners segregated on the roof of a building. Thompson first entered the prison with a camera in 2010. At the time, President Hugo Chavez was dismantling state institutions and seizing private land across the country. The previous year, Chavez had declared Thompson's stepfather a traitor, forcing the entire family to flee the country. Even after all that, Thompson kept returning to the country again and again for 8 years, documenting the harsh reality inside the prison. His very first entry into the facility was terrifying. Prisoners carried heavy weapons, waste streamed down the walls, the air was thick with rot, and everywhere there were wounds, filth, and decay. What frightened him even more was seeing small children coming in and out of the prison every day, witnessing drug transactions, and even scenes where someone held a child in their arms while selling drugs. Thompson's journey began when he learned the story of a politician and former kingpin. At just 17 years old, using fake identification, he stepped into this dangerous world for the first time. Slowly, he built trust with the inmates. The prisoners wanted the world to know their hidden, dark truths. There was a time when these prisons were completely lawless, where violent clashes and bloodshed were routine. Later, new leaders took control and reorganized everything from the ground up. In Venezuela's prisons, violence still existed, but it followed a strict code. It was a kind of eye for an eye system. Surprisingly, even in such crime-filled places, personal belongings were often safe. If someone left behind a phone or wallet, it usually wasn't stolen. If it was lost, someone had to take responsibility. These strange rules created a form of order inside the prison, far harsher than before, but stable compared to the chaos that once ruled. The prison's own internal government and security system controlled the entire facility. Large groups of guards enforced the rules strictly. Who could go where, how one should behave, even which words were forbidden, all of it was part of the system. Breaking the rules meant losing social status instantly. New prisoners were first sent to the church, where they were asked who they were, why they were there, and whether they knew anyone inside. After that, inmates were divided into 3 groups: Thugra, evangelicals, and renegades. The Thugra were the most free inside the prison. They could go wherever they wanted, stay without shirts, and openly use substances. The evangelicals lived under stricter rules, Bibles in hand, ties around their necks, responsible for cleanliness and cooking. The worst conditions were reserved for the renegades, those who had committed very serious crimes, were LGBTQ, or were members of rival gangs opposed to the kingpins. Evangelicals do more than just religious work. They are responsible for cleaning the prison's filth, waste, and sewage. The church is both their living space and their place of punishment. If someone breaks the rules or fails to repay a debt, they are sent to the church first. But if they are found guilty again, they may be shot in the hand or sent directly to the renegades section. Once you go there, there is no return. It becomes a permanent mark on their life. The prison government collects a tax from everyone called La Causa. This money is used to bring in goods from outside. If you follow the rules and pay La Causa, there are usually no problems. But if you cause trouble or owe money, the situation can quickly turn terrifying. During the period of severe inflation in the country, outside currency lost all value inside the prison. The inmates created their own economic system, new markets, their own currency, bartering, and credit. Items that had become scarce outside were still available inside. Some people even entered the prison just to shop or eat at its restaurants. The prison's private restaurants were far better than the official prison food. Government meals were low quality and often a source of illness. Within this harsh reality, There were also prisoners standing on the edge of death. One man, suffering from tuberculosis, had been reduced almost to a skeleton. An indigenous man imprisoned for years over the accusation of stealing a simple watch. He died just a day before his release. Most prisoners inside still have not received any formal sentence. They remain locked away for years without trial. Many are forced to confess just to move their cases forward. Due to economic collapse and strict government policies, even minor crimes now lead to prison. Young people share the same space as hardened killers. This environment pushes inmates toward new criminal networks because survival depends on paying la causa, finding work, and protecting one's status. When society fails to focus on rehabilitation, this dirty world sinks even deeper into darkness. At the end of the documentary, the military launches an operation to retake control of prisons that had been ruled by inmates. In 2016, the main center of that massive clash was the very prison where this reality had been filmed for 8 years. Recovering these heavily armed prisons through military action created a major crisis for Venezuela's socialist government, because carrying out such operations makes large-scale bloodshed unavoidable. In the process, many people who are being held without trial, people who may be innocent, also lose their lives. This reality cannot be reconciled with the government's own policies. The ideology they promote speaks of compassion, justice, and the dream of creating a new human being, yet killing prisoners stands in direct contradiction to those ideals. According to the Guevara-inspired theory of building a new society, prisons should be places of rehabilitation and re-education. So how can the same system justify deadly military raids? This is the deepest contradiction at the heart of it all. The collapse of Venezuela's authoritarian rule is also a story of personal pain for Figueroa Thompson and his family. His stepfather, Guillermo Zuluaga, ran the country's last independent television channel. When Chavez took control of most media outlets, he continued to expose the truth, despite years of pressure, harassment, and threats. In REI, Chavez had him arrested and declared an enemy of the revolution, forcing him into exile. At that time, Figueroa Thompson was in his first year of university. As his family fled the country, he stayed behind in Venezuela with his younger brother. Watching a man he had known all his life, for his integrity being driven out, simply for speaking the truth, was a deeply shaking experience. When a society no longer allows questions, when there is no room to correct mistakes, a nation becomes so trapped in ideology that there is no path back. Venezuela's crisis stands exactly at that point today. La Causa, the documentary, captures this steady decline in human rights violations under Chavez and Maduro, the erosion of society, and the slow collapse of the revolution's promises and ideals. At the same time, the film tells the stories of a few individuals who, even within this terrifying reality, continue to seek change and freedom, despite the uncertainty of ever receiving justice. Figueroa Thompson's own journey teaches a powerful lesson. To look deep into this dark world is to open another door to humanity. Not everyone can enter the belly of the beast, but when these realities are shown through film, people begin to understand, to feel, and to develop empathy. That is where the true power of cinema lies. These Venezuelan prisons are not just symbols of criminal pride, they are images of a nation's breakdown, the dark reality of a society in crisis. Is this armed, self-governed prison world only Venezuela's problem? Or is it a warning of a future that could await others as well? One question always remains: if prisons themselves become mirrors of injustice and oppression, how safe can the rest of society truly be? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found the video meaningful, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel.